Sometimes as boaters, we get stuck in some hard spots. Welcome back, guys. It is your boy Broncos Guru, and it's this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. But before we get started this week, we got a little courtesy message from a viewer.
Feel sorry for y'all this winterizing, because we going fishing.
As a boater, sometimes it's not all that difficult to get yourself into a hard spot. Sometimes you might just not know where you're going. You might be on a new waterway and you run into some things that you just didn't know were there because once again, we can't all see underneath the water. Sometimes we just make some poor decisions though as well. We put ourselves in spots we probably shouldn't be in, and we're going to wind up with results we typically don't like when we do that. As we can kind of see here with this tugboat really struggling to try and get away from this cargo ship, and things are not going to go well for the tugboat. I do realize this is the tugboat's job to get out here and play with these bigger vessels, but sometimes you just got to let bigger vessels do what they want to do, and this tugboat doesn't have much of a choice. It's going to let it do what it wants to do right now. Sometimes I really can't figure out how people get into hard spots, kind of like we'll see in this one. Here, these guys have plenty of room to do whatever they want, but they decide they're going to go ahead and make the turn here. And now they're heading towards a large commercial vessel. I don't think they're going to like the result of this one either. This is one of those times somebody put themselves in a hard spot where I really just don't understand. There's no way in the world they missed this vessel unless there's something under the water dictating them having to take that path. I'm still kind of a little blown away that they went that way. Sometimes we'll put ourselves in a hard spot at the ramp by making some poor decisions, like trying to back all the way up to the tailgate. These guys are in entirely too deep.
Go off, please go off. Oh, yes!
Well, I think we may have discovered why these guys were in a hot spot. They may have had a little bit too much fun over at the sandbar on this day. This next guy I feel absolutely horrible for. This is one of those hard spots you really would hate to be in. This could be due to neglect, or he might have just sent a little too hard. Either way, this is not a fun position to be in, and all I can see is the dollar signs racking up on trying to get this one fixed. Our next boater's put himself in a hard spot. Well, just looks like he probably doesn't know what he's doing. And that's part of the problem sometimes we get out there in the water. Everybody has to start somewhere. Everybody's a rookie at some point, and you know we all learn from our mistakes. Oh, the sweet bridges we run into out on the waterways. Some days they can be our best friend, like those days when that water's just low enough that we can just barely squeeze under our favorite bridge that all of a sudden gets us out to the fishing grounds about an hour sooner than having to go all the way around. But some days the bridges just aren't so cooperative, and some bridges that we thought were going to let us pass decide that day they're not going to let us through. But you know what, as boaters, we never seem to give up. We're always going to find a way, just like these guys do right here. And this isn't boneheaded at all. This is actually pretty slick. I'm assuming this is a service at this bridge. This must not be all that uncommon for these vessels to come through here and need a little assistance getting through, and these guys have figured out a way to do it. And sometimes bridges do decide to cooperate and just barely let us through, kind of like we're going to see this commercial vessel do here. This is about as close as you can get on this bridge. It appears they're doing some work on it, but you know you did a good job when you come through the bridge and the construction workers who are working on the bridge actually physically applaud your job for getting through. And then on other days, the bridge is going to say access denied, but you say, you know what, we're going for it anyway, and you realize real quickly that was probably the wrong decision. But like out on any waterway, boaters are always willing to help boaters, kind of like we're seeing this blue vessel do here as he's trying to ram this guy through the bridge. My favorite part of this is that they actually threw a fender out on the rear of the vessel that's being pushed, thinking that's going to actually help when it looks like they're not even touching the fender. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening on your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Will Craig 14, Chris Taylor, Seth Hackner 1, Matthew Corson, Adrian Vanderheck, Andrew Rolfe 17, Dre Elmer, Kepaskiff 12, and Owen Wilsey did this week. And if you haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on that subscribe button. If not, we're coming to steal your drain plug.